The spring market was supposed to show up in April, but it is nowhere to be seen. Total sales in Metro Vancouver came in at 2,110 for April 2026. Now that's down just 2.5% from April last year, but that was a pretty awful market as well. And we're sitting 22.9% below the 10-year seasonal average. And that's the number that I keep coming back to all the time. That's the benchmark that I will continue to use moving forward as well, because it tells you where we should be. And right now, we're nowhere near a regular market. Here's the interesting thing about April, though. If you just look at the headline number, it almost looks flat, down 2.5, no big deal. But when you peel it back by property type, something very different is happening. There's a split happening in this market right now, a real divergence between detached homes and condos and townhomes. And this split has major implications from where you sit right now, whether you're buying or selling. So today we're going to be breaking down all the sales from April 2026. The stats package I get is from the Greater Vancouver Realtors. We're going to be looking at sales, listings, inventory, pricing, segment by segment. So of those 2,110 sales, there were 659 detached properties sold. That's actually up 14% from April last year. So 14% is actually, it's a significant amount. But again, the market last year in April was very, very flat as well. So let's not focus in on that. Flipping over to apartments, 1,009 sales, down 10.7% from April last year. And townhomes, 433 sales, down 2% year over year. So the detached market is actually gaining ground. Multifamily is losing it. Both things happening at the same time in the same city right now. Why does this matter? Because detached properties and condos have never really acted like the same in the market, even though some people lump them together. Detached is land. You're not building more of it. In fact, with all the multiplexing happening in Vancouver and Burnaby right now, there's actively less of these types of properties every year, while construction on condos has been the story for the last decade in Metro Vancouver. And right now, there's just way too much supply in that space. The overall sales to active listing ratio sits at about 13.5% across all property types. By segment, detached is at 11.3%, attached is at 15%, and apartments are at 14.7%. Here's why the numbers matter. Below 12% for a sustained period means downward pressure on prices. We've obviously seen a lot of that over the last 2 years. Above 20% means it is actually a seller's market and we see some upward pressure for prices. Detached right now is sitting right at 12% threshold, right on the edge. Not a buyer's market, not a seller's market. It's quote unquote balanced, but I think we still have too much supply. So let's talk about listings and inventory. New listings in April hit 6,684, down 2.4% from April 2025. But here's the catch. Despite that year-over-year drop, new listings are still 15.5% above the 10-year seasonal average. So more sellers are putting their homes on the market than average for this time of the year. Total active listings on MLS right now are just over 16,000, essentially flat compared to April 2025, basically up 0.2%, but it's 37.9% above the 10-year seasonal average, 37.9% above normal inventory levels. Think about what that means for a buyer. You have a ton of choice and you have time. I'm not saying that you should buy a property right now. I'm just saying that there's better choice available to you if it's the right time for your personal needs. So you have choice, you have time, you have leverage, you can be patient, you can be picky, and you can negotiate. So this is a buyer's market by inventory standards. All markets are based on supply and demand, and there's so much inventory right now, and there's no real driving force for buyers to jump into the market right now. For sellers, I'll say this as straight as I can. You're competing. There are a lot of properties sitting on the market. If your home has any sort of issue, a layout problem, deferred maintenance, busy road, awkward lot, buyers are going to pass. There's always something else to look at. The sellers who are moving product right now are the ones priced correctly from day one and have their home presented amazingly. That's it. There's no magic. Price it right, show it well, work with someone who has real marketing strategy for you in your direct area. That's how you compete. When there's nearly 40% more inventory than on average, you need a professional. The MLS Home Price Index benchmark for all residential properties in Metro Vancouver is at $1,098,000 in April this year. That's down almost 7% from April 2025 and down 0.5% from March 2026. So let me break that down by type. Detached homes benchmark is $1,840,000, down 8.3% year over year and down 0.8% from March. Apartment benchmark $703,000, down 7.9% year over year and 0.5% from March. Townhouse benchmark, 1,043,400, down 5.1% year over year and down 0.4 from March. On a month over month basis, these moves are tiny, less than 1% in any direction. Prices are essentially flat right now, but the bigger story is the year over year picture. If you bought back in 2022 and you need to sell today, you feel that 7, 8, sometimes double digit loss that we've seen because of supply and demand and external factors such as interest rates. And the inventory right now is high enough to keep upward pressure from building. You can't push prices up right now when buyers have 30% more properties to choose from than normal. So will this change? Potentially. If detached momentum pulls attached buyers off the sidelines, if pent-up demand comes back heading into summer, that's what I'm watching. But until we see the data and not just look at theories, flatline is the base case. But until we see the data next month, not looking at just theories on what happened last month, flat is the best case. If some of you have followed me, most of my business happens in Ladner and Tsawwassen. That's where I like to focus. Any other business outside of here, I usually refer out, but I still work for past clients. So I'm going to dive deep into South Delta specifically because the Metro Vancouver headline numbers don't tell the story here. Starting with Ladner, residential benchmark price is 1,074,900, flat month over month, down 1.8% over 6 months, down 6.3% year over year. 5-year change, up 9.1%, 10-year change, up 29.9%. That 5-year number is the one I want to hold you on to. Ladner's up 9.1% over the last 5 years. It's held its value better than a lot of communities in this region. The 1-year decline of 6.3%, yeah, that's real. And I would say that on average, if we look at actual different property types of detached homes, the number's larger than that. But the long-term trajectory of Ladner tells you this is a market with real underlying demand. Community character, lot sizes, school catchments, things that don't disappear in a slow market. Ladner is a fantastic place to live and grow a family. So the Ladner detached benchmark is 1,303,500, flat month over month, down 6.6 year over year, 5-year up 6.1%. For detached buyers looking at Ladner, that year over year decline is your opportunity if it's the right time. You're technically buying at a discount relative where this market was a year or 2 years ago. The data supports this as a solid entry point, but again, I'm not telling you to buy right now, and I'm not predicting that the market won't go down further. Personally, I think it will continue to drop for the next year or two, but that doesn't mean that your situation, that this isn't a good opportunity for you. Ladner Apartments benchmark 627,000, down basically 3% month over month, down 8.5% over the last 3 months, down 8.8% year over year. And that 3-month move is really noticeable. Like I've been feeling that on my listings too. It's softening faster than the detached side right now. Whereas last year, the condo market was actually pretty strong. So if you own a condo in Ladner and you're thinking about selling, this is a conversation you need to have sooner than later. Ladner townhome benchmark price, 983,600, flat month over month, up 1.8% over 3 months, a positive sign. But again, we're looking at so many different property types. You could be looking at a 40-year-old townhome or a brand new townhome. These numbers down 4.8% year over year, 5-year up 19.3%. So townhomes in Ladner are showing a bit more resilience than condos. That 3-month uptick is encouraging, but again, it's very tough with the limited data we have in Ladner. There's not a ton of sales like in the Greater Vancouver market, like in Vancouver, Burnaby, or even Richmond. Now let's dive into Tsawwassen. Residential benchmark 1,137,800. Essentially flat month over month, up 1.6% over 6 months. That's a positive number, down 6.3% year over year. 5-year up basically 7%. But this uptick over the last 6 months of 1.6%, I have to stress again, different properties all the time. You're looking at a 7-year-old home versus brand new construction, and there's only like 10 to 15 detached home sales a month here. So these numbers are very skewed. Tsawwassen detached benchmark 1,530,000. Up 0.9% month over month, up 4.9% over 6 months, down 5.7% year over year. 5 years, up 11.5%. 10 years, up 17.3%. The detached market here has definitely seen a bit of momentum with more sales happening all the time. Lots more activity on the showing basis as well. And the trend over the last 6 months is something, encouraging for sellers. But what I'm finding is selling the best right now is detached homes under 1.5 million, maybe under 1.6, that have renovations that a buyer can afford to have in a mortgage, but not have to do, if they have to buy a $1.2 million house, nobody has $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 sitting around to make that property what they actually want to be in today. So $1.5 million to $1.6 million renovated homes still selling really well right now. 𝐷𝐿𝐴SSEN condos, the benchmark is 606,600, down 1.6% month over month, down about 8% over the last 3 months, and down 9.7% year over year. It's been a really challenging market for 𝐷𝐿𝐴SSEN condos right now. We have such a different mix of condos available. 𝐷𝐿𝐴SSEN First Nation has a ton of listings. Then you're basically buying brand new, but it is leasehold property. Some will purchase there, some won't. But this segment is actually one of the weakest markets right now in South Delta. Condo owners need to be eyes wide open to see what's really going on. These last 3 months, the market is basically tanked. Like, showing requests are down, prices are down. Everything seems really slow right now in that segment. 𝐷𝐿𝐴SSEN Townhomes, $924,100 for the benchmark, up 1.8% over 3 months, down 6% year over year. 3 years, down 8.6%. Similar story to Ladner Townhomes, but the 3-month number is your bright spot. So what does this mean for South Delta right now? If you own a detached home and you're thinking about selling, you still have a window. 𝐷𝐿𝐴SSEN Detached specifically showed real 6-month strength, but you need to be priced properly from day one. There's so many listings that have been in the market. I saw one the other day, 464 days on market, 0 price change. If you think that person has any hope of selling at their price from, a year and a half ago, they're out to lunch. One of the biggest pain points right now is testing the market with a high price tag. This is basically shooting yourself in the foot from day one. In this inventory environment, it's a losing strategy. If you own a condo in Ladner or Tsawwassen, the data is telling you something. Both markets have seen accelerating weakness in that segment over 3 and 6 months. If selling is a possibility for you in the next year, have that conversation now. Now, buyers in South Delta, Ladner Detached at 1.3 million, 𝐷𝐿𝐴SSEN Detached at 1.53 million. Both markets have underlying support when you look at the 5 and 10-year picture. You're not catching a falling knife. You're buying into a slow market, and you have a lot of choice right now. I absolutely love both neighborhoods. A lot of people from Vancouver and Richmond are still coming out to Ladner and Tsawwassen because we offer a community vibe here that those other places may have lost. Let's talk about the bigger picture. I want to step back for a second and frame why the market is where it is. Global uncertainty is elevated so many times over the last year. Tariff pressure, trade disruption, those things flow directly into consumer confidence, and consumer confidence flows directly into real estate decisions. People don't buy homes when they're scared about their jobs or scared about the economy. They don't list homes when they think prices might slip further. We've covered a lot on this channel before. BC saw over 20,000 job losses in a single report. Full-time employment took a significant hit. Immigration targets have been cut way back. We've lost so many new people into Canada, and a lot of those people could have been potential buyers. Fewer buyers means less demand. Less demand means the balance tips for buyers and they have the control. None of that has materially changed since March, but what has changed? Detached buyers are quietly starting to move. That's a signal worth watching. My read on where the market goes from here is probably we're going to see prices decline slowly over the next 1 to 2 years. Over the next month, it's really hard to say. We could see double the sales happen this month compared to last month. Hopefully there's no more external factors like political or world events that are happening that really shape how buyers feel out there, because buyer sentiment is absolutely everything in this market. And we just have way too much supply right now and not enough demand. Lots of my clients right now are sitting on the sidelines, picking and choosing when they want to go see a property. I've had clients recently that wrote on a property 3 different times since March, and now we finally went under contract. I have clients that have been sitting on the sidelines for over a year. We wrote an offer on a property back on February 17th. We wrote again about a month ago, and this week we finally got an accepted offer on it. So buyers are more picky than ever, and I don't blame them. You should be. And just a side note, the 2 biggest terms in any negotiation are really going to be your price and then your moving dates. If you can offer flexible moving dates to a home seller, that then enables them the opportunity to purchase and move into the next home in a comfortable timeline. My biggest takeaway is never sell with emotion. Always look at your personal picture, what is needed for your life and your lifestyle. Work within your budget. You don't have to go to the top of your pre-approval. Make sure that you're not house poor. I've been a realtor for 16 years. I'm Blake Chancey with Real Broker. If you like this video, please help me out. Like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one.